Hi, welcome to Creative Movies Recapped. Today's recap is a 2006 American action disaster film titled Poseidon. Watch out for spoilers ahead. Before we continue, please subscribe to support our channel. The film opens up with Dylan Johns, a former Navy submariner turned professional gambler, running on a big ship called Poseidon, and then he alights at the roof to gaze at the beautiful sunset. Poseidon is a luxury ocean liner that is sailing across the Atlantic. Some passengers are also seen relaxing on the ship's roof for the sunset. On board is a teenager by the name of Christian who is flirting with his girlfriend Jennifer in her father's room. Her father, Robert Russell, comes in and they pretend they were not doing anything. Robert, who is a former New York City mayor, tells Christian not to be addressing him with formalities as it makes him feel old when Christian calls him sir. Robert tells Jennifer that he doesn't feel comfortable with the two of them alone in his room. Jennifer argues that they could as well go to another room and do whatever it is he thinks they want to do, and walks out, leaving Robert and Christian together. The film introduces us to Elena, who is seen wandering looking for her boyfriend Marco in the kitchen, who is a waiter, before bumping into Dylan at the stairs. They appear to like each other, and Dylan, knowing the ship's interior, directs Elena to the kitchen. Richard Nelson is an architect who is desperately sending phone messages to his spouse, who is not picking up his calls, and leaves a final message telling her to call at midnight. Marco tells Elena that he could lose his job if they are seen together in the kitchen, and tells her to go back where the other people are. It is the end of the year and the passengers are enjoying a New Year's Eve party. Captain Michael Bradford is addressing the crowd. He tells people about the history of the ship, then people are left to celebrate as entertainers are entertaining the crowd. Dylan, Robert, Lucky Larry and some other people are playing casino on one side of the main room on the ship. Jennifer comes to her father and asks her for permission to go upstairs with Christian, and he reluctantly allows her. Dylan bumps into Connor, Maggie's son, then Maggie comes in and starts chatting with Dylan. Dylan and Maggie get along well as Dylan tells Maggie what he does, which is gambling. Passengers are dancing and partying to celebrate New Year's Eve. The ship's crew is going on with their normal ship operations when one of the bridge officers realizes that there is something wrong with the ocean from weird sounds that he heard from afar. At midnight, the passengers are celebrating the new year when the crew members see a huge rogue wave approaching, and they try to turn the ship opposite the side of the wave. On realizing they are too late, they warn the passengers of an emergency and the music stops. Richard Nelson, who wants to commit suicide after being rejected by his spouse, sees the wave and gets inside the ship terrified. Everyone starts running around in fear before the wave swamps and capsizes the ship, killing the bridge officers along with many passengers and crew. Connor hangs by a post, calling her mother Maggie, as many people slide to one side. Many passengers fall into the ocean as the ship overturns. Christian hangs and hooks his leg under a steel pillar as people fall from the bottom to the top of the ship. Water enters the ship rapidly and some other parts blow up due to electric shock and fuel. Some are burned by the fire burning down in the ship, while many die from drowning. People who are inside the ballroom survive, being that the ballroom is airtight, but some are badly injured. Passengers rescue each other where they can, while others die from electric shock and being fallen on by objects. Robert helps Connor get down from a hanging position, claiming that he was once a firefighter. In the ballroom, a badly injured Captain Bradford attempts to restore order and assures the surviving passengers that help is on the way, and tries to persuade them to stay put. Unconvinced, Dylan leads Connor, Maggie, Robert, Richard, and Marco Valentine, the waiter, as they make their way towards the bow, where he believes that they will have the best chance of escaping from the capsized liner. Maggie hesitates to go, but Connor begs her to go with Dylan. Robert's daughter Jennifer is in another airtight room, so Robert strikes a deal with Dylan to help locate Jennifer and then help him get out using Marco's help. Captain Michael Bradford tries to stop them, but they still go ahead to try their luck. After the group leaves the ballroom, Captain Michael Bradford orders for the doors to be sealed to lock the group outside, since they disobeyed his orders of staying inside the room. They head to the service elevator, which is the only way out, but after opening it they find a deep elevator shaft and make a way using a bench from the kitchen. They start crossing, being led by Dylan, Connor, Maggie, Robert, and Richard before an elevator falls from the top, forcing them to sacrifice Marco to save Richard's life, who is in a better position of surviving. The ship continues to wreck slowly as it is capsizing, as the crowd in the ballroom gets more stressed and terrified. Robert finds a way out of the place they are in, and leads the group to find her daughter and escape together. Christian is stuck and Jennifer with the help of Elena and Larry helps him out. The group meets up with Jennifer, Christian, Elena, Larry and Robert hugs her daughter with joy and excitement. Dylan tries to look for a way out as Robert and Maggie help fix Christian's wounds. Elena explains to Richard that she only boarded the ship to go and see her sick brother in New York. At this point, the ship is damaged and bridges in between are broken. As the group crosses a makeshift bridge across the lobby, Lucky Larry gets crushed by an engine, and fire from the spilling oil explodes, making it impossible for Robert, Dylan, and Jennifer to cross over. Dylan jumps inside the water with the burning oil on top holding a long hosepipe and crosses over. He ties it to the other side, helping Robert and Jennifer cross over. The pressure from the water finally cracks the ballroom windows, drowning the occupants, including Captain Bradford. With the water rising rapidly, the group escapes through an air duct but gets trapped and almost drowns when Robert calls Connor to use his little hand through an opening and unscrews the screws that open the air duct, making them escape to the other side. Using ballast tanks, they discover that they have to flood the tank they are in to open the valve to the next safe tank. After the valve to the next tank opens, they swim to a safer place, but Elena gets hit on her head underwater and drowns as a result. The ship is slowly sinking and the survivors continue heading to the bow section. They soon find themselves in a crew lounge where they find the bow section is flooded until an explosion of the engine room lifts it out of the water. The group enters the bow thruster room and is horrified to find the thrusters still running. With their path blocked by the propellers, and knowing that the control room is submerged in water, Robert swims away to turn off the engine. He finds the shut-off switch to be broken, but presses the reverse button instead, before drowning. Connor is trapped and almost drowns, but Dylan swims him out. With the propellers now spinning in the other direction, Dylan throws an acetylene tank, causing an explosion that destroys the propeller, and leaving an opening for them to escape through. The group jumps out of the thruster and swims to a nearby inflatable raft, and as they are getting into the raft, the ship starts to sink. As they are paddling away, the waves push the raft farther away from the sinking liner. Poseidon flips back over, and across the water, the survivors look on as it sinks stern first deep into the ocean. After the survivors fire a flare, 2 helicopters and several ships arrive to rescue them, having tracked the location of the Poseidon's GPS beacon. Hope you've enjoyed today's recap. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.